No one is holding you back. No system is blocking your path. The hardest truth is this: your life is waiting for you to stop standing in your own way. There comes a moment in every human life when silence begins to speak louder than noise, when distraction loses its grip, when the soul leans forward and asks a question the mind can no longer ignore. Why, with all this potential, have I remained unfinished? This moment is not one of guilt. It is a moment of recognition. It is the instant you realize that what has been missing has never been outside of you. You were not born to drift through years reacting to circumstance. You were not designed to live cautiously inside borrowed limits. You entered this world equipped with a mind capable of shaping destiny itself. And yet, slowly and almost invisibly, many people surrender that power to habit, fear, and the opinions of others who never accepted responsibility for their own lives. Napoleon Hill called this condition drifting, not failure, not weakness, but the absence of direction. Drifting feels harmless. It feels reasonable. It disguises itself as patience, as realism, as waiting for the right moment. But while you wait, life moves forward, and every day lived without a definite purpose becomes another silent agreement to remain unchanged. The human mind, left without instruction, will always accept the strongest influence around it. If you do not deliberately choose your thoughts, they will be chosen for you by environment, emotion, and past disappointment. Once that happens, self-sabotage becomes automatic, not because you desire failure, but because you have surrendered command. Your mind is a workshop. Every dominant thought you allow inside becomes a tool set in motion. Thoughts mixed with emotion pass into the subconscious, and from there they become habits of action. Habits, repeated long enough, become character, and character determines destiny with unyielding accuracy. You do not rise or fall by chance. You rise or fall by mental law. Hill taught that all achievement begins with desire, but not weak desire, burning desire. Desire so definite and emotionally charged that it organizes thought, sharpens perception, and mobilizes action. Most people want success the way they want comfort, casually and conditionally, without sacrifice. But desire that changes lives is not polite. It refuses compromise. It does not negotiate with fear. Thomas Edison did not invent light by avoiding darkness. He entered it repeatedly. Where others counted failure, he gathered instruction. His strength was not intelligence alone. It was the refusal to allow temporary defeat to define permanent identity. This distinction separates those who shape history from those who explain it. One group interprets circumstance. The other commands thought. Belief is the central force here. Not hope, not wishful thinking, but belief repeatedly impressed upon the subconscious mind. What you believe about yourself becomes the ceiling of your achievement. And if that belief is weak or borrowed, your results will reflect it with exact precision. You sabotage your life every time you doubt your right to think independently, every time you suppress an idea because it might fail, every time you consult fear before consulting vision. But the moment you assume control of your thinking, something irreversible begins. Awareness awakens power. You are no longer drifting. You are beginning to remember who is in command. The instant you choose a definite purpose, the mind begins to change its posture. What once felt scattered starts to organize. What once felt heavy begins to align. Definiteness is not rigidity. It is focus infused with conviction. It is the decision to move forward without requiring approval from the crowd. Andrew Carnegie understood this law when he unified his thinking around a single organizing vision. While others chased opportunity, he built structure. While others reacted, he planned. His success was not accidental. It was inevitable, because his thinking was disciplined and directed. Indecision fractures energy. Decision concentrates it. Most people exhaust themselves trying to move in many directions at once. The master chooses one direction and commits fully, not for days or weeks, but for as long as it takes. Here discipline enters, not as restriction, but as allegiance. Discipline is the daily agreement between your present self and your future identity. Hill taught that self-discipline begins with mastery over attention. What you allow your mind to dwell upon determines what grows. Thoughts require no permission to multiply. They require only repetition. Fear rehearsed becomes stronger. Faith rehearsed becomes fortified. Faith properly understood is not blind belief. It is belief grounded in understanding mental law. When thought is mixed with emotion and repeated with persistence, the subconscious accepts it as instruction. From there, action follows naturally. Gratitude becomes essential, not as politeness, but as perception. Gratitude stabilizes belief. It prevents resentment from poisoning progress. Abraham Lincoln did not grow strong in comfort. He was refined by responsibility, loss, and pressure. Gratitude anchored his spirit to purpose rather than despair. Adaptability preserves vision. The method may change. The mission remains. Those who refuse to adapt break under pressure. Those who adapt intelligently endure. Slowly, almost unnoticed, identity begins to shift. You stop asking if you are capable. You begin acting as one who is becoming. And the world responds differently to someone who moves with certainty. Persistence now becomes natural rather than forced. You no longer rely on motivation, because motivation is fleeting and unreliable. You rely on commitment, which is quiet, steady, and unwavering. Commitment does not ask how you feel today. It asks who you have decided to become. When commitment governs action, emotion loses its power to derail progress. Temporary defeat no longer feels like a personal verdict. It becomes information. It becomes instruction. It becomes part of the process rather than a reason to abandon it. You begin to understand that delay is not punishment. Delay is preparation. What once felt like discouragement now reveals itself as refinement. Life is shaping you, strengthening your thinking, tempering your patience, sharpening your discernment. The mind that once rushed for results now respects timing. You recognize that anything achieved before you are internally prepared to sustain it would eventually collapse under its own weight. So you persist, not with desperation, but with quiet certainty. Walt Disney stands as a powerful reminder of this truth. He was dismissed as uncreative. He was bankrupt. He was doubted by those who measured possibility by past results. Yet his vision remained untouched, not because conditions were favorable, but because belief was disciplined. He did not revise his dream to fit rejection. He refined his strategy while protecting the integrity of his vision. His faith was not emotional optimism. It was mental loyalty to an idea that had not yet proven itself. Faith moved first. Evidence followed. This is the order life obeys whether acknowledged or not. At this stage, something profound happens internally. Your inner dialogue grows quieter, not because doubt has vanished, but because it no longer governs. Thought has been trained. Emotion has been harnessed. You no longer argue with fear. You observe it, then act anyway. Action now flows from alignment rather than urgency. You move because it is time, not because you are anxious. You pause because it is wise, not because you are afraid. This is mental maturity. The mind is no longer reactive. It is responsive. You are no longer pulled in multiple directions by impulse and opinion. Your attention has been disciplined. Your focus has been refined. You act with intention, and intention creates momentum without strain. The chaos that once lived inside you begins to dissolve. In its place there is order, calm, direction. Gratitude deepens here, not as relief but as awareness. You begin to appreciate the shaping power of adversity. You understand that every challenge you endured without quitting strengthens something invisible but essential. Gratitude anchors you to the present while keeping your vision intact. It prevents bitterness from corrupting belief. It allows you to grow without resentment and succeed without arrogance. Adaptability sharpens as well. You no longer confuse rigidity with strength. You understand that intelligence bends without breaking. When methods fail, you adjust them. When plans require revision, you revise them. But the mission remains untouched. This flexibility protects your progress. It ensures that setbacks do not become endings. Adaptability is the companion of persistence, allowing vision to survive changing conditions. Resilience stabilizes your entire being. You no longer question whether you can endure. You know you can. Experience has proven it. You have faced uncertainty and remained standing. You have encountered resistance and continued forward. This knowledge settles into your identity. You are no longer someone who hopes to succeed. You are someone who expects progress, because you trust your ability to persist. The mind has now been conditioned for success, not by chance but by law. Repeated thought has reshaped belief. Repeated action has reshaped habit. Habit has reshaped character. And character is the invisible force drawing results into your life. You are no longer attempting to control outcomes directly. You are controlling alignment. And alignment governs outcomes automatically. Wealth begins to appear differently now, not as obsession, not as desperate pursuit, but as result. Money follows organization. Opportunity follows preparation. Influence follows clarity. The more ordered your thinking becomes, the more orderly your results appear. You are no longer chasing outcomes. You are attracting them through coherence and consistency. This is not luck. This is alignment made visible. What appears effortless to others is the result of unseen discipline. What looks like fortune is actually the consequence of sustained inner order. You are witnessing the outward expression of an inward transformation. And in this realization, there is calm confidence, not excitement without foundation, not pride without depth, but a grounded certainty that you are no longer working against yourself. You are working with the laws that govern success, and once those laws are understood and respected, progress is no longer a question of if, but of when. Now you understand that life responds to command, not to wish, not to complaint, but to disciplined, emotionally charged thought held with persistence. You have stopped sabotaging your life, not through force, but through understanding. You have reclaimed authority over the only domain that has ever truly mattered. Your thinking is deliberate. Your purpose is defined. Your discipline is internal. This is not ambition. This is alignment. From this moment forward, the future no longer intimidates you. It recognizes you, because you are no longer drifting. You are directing, and that changes everything. Now you understand that life responds to command, not to wish, not to complaint, not to hope, whispered in the dark. Life responds to disciplined, emotionally charged thought, held with persistence. It responds to a mind that has been trained, sharpened, and aligned with purpose. It responds to those who no longer allow fear, doubt, or distraction to guide their steps. This is the law you now live by. You have discovered that it is not the events around you that determine the outcome, but the decisions you make within yourself and the consistency with which you act upon them. Life is not something to negotiate with. It is something to direct. And the mind that has learned to command becomes the instrument through which reality itself reshapes. You have stopped sabotaging your life, not through force, not through frustration, and not through borrowed determination, but through understanding. Understanding the invisible laws that govern thought, belief, and action. Understanding that nothing external can hold you back if you do not allow it. Understanding that the only limits are those you accept for yourself. You have reclaimed authority over the only domain that has ever truly mattered, the domain of your own thinking. Every thought, every choice, every action is now an expression of deliberate mastery rather than scattered impulse. You are no longer a passenger in your own life. You are the pilot. You are no longer following the currents of circumstance. You are shaping them. Your thinking is deliberate. It is no longer cluttered with doubts or hesitations. Each idea you entertain is measured, examined, and directed toward the fulfillment of your chosen purpose. Your purpose is defined, not vague, not casual, not borrowed from someone else's dreams, but your own, chosen and embraced with conviction. It is a purpose that stirs passion in your heart, sharpens your focus, and compels action even when resistance rises. Your discipline is internal. It is no longer imposed from without, but drawn from the wellspring of self-command. You no longer need external pressures to motivate you, because the momentum comes from within. The daily choices, the repeated habits, the unwavering focus, they have created a machine within you that moves naturally toward the realization of your vision. This is not ambition in the ordinary sense. Ambition seeks external validation. Ambition often cries for recognition, status, and reward. What you now possess is alignment. Alignment between thought and action, between desire and discipline, between who you are and who you are becoming. Alignment creates power without strain. It makes persistence effortless. It ensures that effort is never wasted, for every action flows directly into the stream of purpose. Alignment is the quiet, relentless force that turns ordinary moments into extraordinary outcomes. When you are aligned, there is no need to chase. The world itself begins to bend toward the one who moves with clarity, integrity, and sustained focus. From this moment forward, the future no longer intimidates you. It does not frighten you, because you have mastered the only thing that matters, yourself. You no longer see uncertainty as a threat. You see it as a stage for action. You no longer see obstacles as reasons to stop. You see them as opportunities to apply the principles you have learned. The future recognizes you because you have taken your rightful position as the commander of your mind. You are no longer drifting aimlessly, waiting for circumstance to hand you your destiny. You are directing. You are initiating. You are creating. And that changes everything. Every challenge, every setback, every perceived limitation now becomes a signal rather than a stop. You have learned to interpret life in the language of opportunity, to recognize the lessons hidden within resistance, and to respond with deliberate action rather than fear. You move with confidence because you know that nothing external can define you. Success is no longer a matter of chance. It is the inevitable result of the discipline, clarity, and alignment that now define your existence. You have entered the space where preparation meets opportunity, where thought becomes reality, and where persistence transforms vision into tangible achievement. And so life has become responsive. It moves to the rhythm of your command. The circumstances you once feared now yield to your determination. The people who doubted you now witness your resolve, not because you have proven them right or wrong, but because you have proven yourself capable of sustaining your own mastery. Authority has returned to its rightful owner. The mind that once wavered now stands firm. The heart that once questioned now beats with purpose. The spirit that once hesitated now soars with unshakable conviction. From this day forward, your life is no longer an accident. Every thought, every word, every action contributes to the reality you intend to create. The currents of time will not carry you. You will carry yourself through them, shaping the waters with each decisive movement. You are no longer a spectator. You are the architect. You are the pilot. You are the director of your own story. And as you step fully into this identity, as you embrace the full responsibility and freedom that comes with it, everything shifts. You are no longer bound by the limitations of doubt. You are no longer restrained by fear or hesitation. You are moving in harmony with the law of success itself, and that, finally, changes everything.